Hello YouTube, good morning. Off to Bowen Motorcycles to have a little go on the Himmie 450. See what that's all about. See if I'd consider upgrading in the future. Yay. Got some big plans for next year. Some longer distances, which I'm quite happy to do on Scrambo, to be honest, but I had a spare day today, so I thought I'd take the 450 out. Here we go, YouTube. Let's get out of Chatham. It feels quite nice. Perfect height. I've got it on the lower seat setting. I was talking about raising it up a bit, but I'm flat footing. I don't think I'd need to put it up any higher. You can feel that power straight away, that extra power. I sat on the bear while I was in the shop and that felt really nice, but it kind of depends what you want the bike for, doesn't it? And if I'm talking about upgrading for touring, not the bear, the shotgun. Not the shotgun, what am I talking about, Rick? Getting all excited. The Gorilla. Not a massive fan of the TFT screen, but they say that it doesn't look too bad. Pulls well in the lower revs, like 2000 RPM. But it feels, close your ears Triumph riders, the engine feels much better than that 400 that I tried of theirs. Really let down with that. Because I like a naked bike, and the Triumph sort of, I thought it was going to tick all the boxes, but I was very underwhelmed with it. Anyway, so he said we can take as long as we like, but I'm not going to take the biscuit. We'll go back the way we came, and then it's a nice comfortable position, and then yeah, we'll do a bit of go up the Bluebell Hill, get on the motorway, the M2, go across the bridge over to the other side, go across the Medway, and then we can come back sort of through the towns, and just see what it's like, sort of see what it's like filtering and stuff. Brakes feel very good. Doesn't feel too heavy. Doesn't feel top heavy at all. Just had to change up there. Down rather. Plenty of acceleration. The usual optimistic Royal Enfield temperature, saying it's 11 degrees. I think it's about 7. So that's in 6th, 50 miles an hour. These just under 5,000 RPM, but we'll have a look at that when we get on the motorway properly. Suspension feels very nice. I don't think the engine's quite as forgiving as the Scram. But it's 2,500 RPM in 4th. You wouldn't really want to take it down any lower than that. Quite flexible. On the screen you might see that TFT sort of flickering. I've noticed on the videos I've watched, you get a lot of flicker on it. But I've got to say actually it doesn't look too bad. I'm a bit of a traditionalist when it comes to, I like the old-fashioned dials. It doesn't look too bad. Slight when you roll off the power, is a little bit of a delayed reaction. Although the Scram has got a lot of engine braking, so I'm possibly just missing a bit of that. You can just use the Scram's engine braking if you're going down a hill. You can just pretty much take your hands off the brakes. In fact, going back down that hill, I wouldn't need to brake much at all. You can just use the engine braking on the Scram. This does feel like a very solid bike. Haven't heard of any reliability issues. 74.5 miles per gallon UK. Don't know how many miles the bike's done so far. Oh, not 900. Oh, so it's not even done 1,000 miles yet, so it's not really properly running. Ah! I've got to say, it does feel like it's it would be a nice solid upgrade from the old Himmie. Depends what you want to buy it for, doesn't it? If you do more off-road, possibly the older Himmie. Well, definitely the older Himmie. Monopoly's on. You can pick some cheap second-hand bikes up, you know, for a couple of grand. If you're going to do longer trips, longer touring, I'd probably go with this. Now that's Bluebell Hill up there. That's the route to the motorway. This is the route to some lanes, as we know. We come down here. What were we on? We were on the Classic, weren't we? Went down that little byway. Probably shouldn't do that on a lone bike. Probably. I just want to take it around some little lanes, really. Hey mate. Can't tell what that is. It could be a Triumph. So two exhausts on the right hand side. Could be a Triumph Scrambler. See. Oh, it is a Triumph, I think. Is that a Triumph name badge? Yeah, I think so. Yeah, definitely. Going the same way as me. Just hold back a bit. Yeah, definitely a Triumph. Getting a bit of buffering. Oh, excuse my voice. Bit of buffering. It's not a very high screen, but then I've always found the higher the screen, the worse the buffering is anyway, unless it actually covers where your helmet is. But yeah, I think pretty much every time I put a higher screen on, I've regretted it. Yeah, I do like the suspension, it's very comfortable. I feel like I could do a lot of miles on this bike. It's a lovely road up there. Should really take a photo. It's got that new bike smell. I picked a good time to stop, take a photo, because the old GoPro battery just ran out, so I swapped that over. Yeah, they are Seat tyres. I think that silencer sounds quite nice. Lovely gold rims. Hugger's doing a good job keeping the crud off the rear suspension. Right, let's get going. Yeah, it doesn't feel like a classic Royal Enfield, obviously, because it's not, you know, but it feels like Royal Enfield's take on a modern bike, I suppose. Very functional. Still got nods to the Royal Enfield brand, but it is a bit of a departure. Obviously it's water cooled, but then it's water cooled for a reason. It's got ABS. I don't know what about I don't think it's got anything else on it. Don't really need traction control, do you? But yeah, it's a nice engine. That's pulling uphill, third gear from low revs. Gingerly go back over this side, all that green stuff, moss grown in the middle of the road. I don't think there's a charging port on this like there is on the Bullet and the Classic 350s. Oh no, there is. There's one down there. Can't get it up, mind, but there's definitely something there. Right, we'll hang a right here, kind of do a little bit of a loop, start heading back, but I do want to take it on a motorway. There we go. Look, we got the MPG up even more, 76.5. That shows you what a slow rider I am. Clutch is light, nice and light. Gearbox is okay. It's pretty light as well. To be honest, it's not very clunky. It just goes into gear nicely. nice and smooth. Right, let's see what she does. Nice bit of acceleration. Up to 70, about 5,500 revs. Can't feel any fuzziness. Look at the consumption. So real-time consumption, we're doing 73. Well, we're going downhill now, so we'll forget that for now. But it was about 75 miles per gallon. See what it is when we flatten out. So we're going up a slight hill now. Could have gone that way, I suppose. Right, we're sitting on 70 basically, and we're getting 60 miles per gallon, which is dropping now because we're going uphill. So we're sitting at 65 now and getting 70 miles per gallon. I can't feel, well yeah, I suppose there is a few vibes in the pegs now. If you wiggle your feet about, you can feel them. But I didn't really notice them when I was up at speed. Certainly not intrusive, I wouldn't say. We'll see what's happened to the average MPG when we get going again, and I can fiddle with the dials. Can't quite reach them with the clutching. .5, not bad at all. I've got to say, I'm impressed. They've done very well here. Very well indeed. Dude. From what I've heard, probably not as good off-road as the 411, as I said earlier, but it's all a compromise. What you're going to be doing more of. I don't find that I'm going off-road much now. So if I'm going to be doing more trips, more longer trips, it would be a sensible upgrade. I do love Scrambo though. Be interested to see what Scrambo feels like when I get back on her. So we'll see what the 450 is like in town now. Yeah, that gearbox is very smooth. But it never feels like you're... I've not found any false neutrals, which I do quite often on Scrambo if I'm not firm enough. Just going over the Medway. So I think cruising on the motorway, you're looking at, for road legal speeds, you're looking at under 6,000 RPM. which I think if you could compare that with a CB 500X, it would be pretty similar, to be honest, because they're quite revvy engines. Certainly not, I don't find the 6th gear, and I don't find the engine as revvy as the Triumph 400. So that's all good. All good in the hood. It's returning a decent MPG, which makes me happy. 6,000 mile service intervals, which makes me happy. You might possibly want to think about doing a 3,000 mile oil change potentially, but you know you've got that range if you need it. 6,000 miles or a year, whichever comes sooner. But the valve clearances, I think, are they 6 or 12? I'll ask Ian when we get back. It's one of those ones. Do you want to take it back to the shop? Nope. Would you be happy riding around for another 3 hours on it? Yep. Yeah, no, I'm liking it a lot. People said that you sort of you sit more on the bike than certain other bikes, but I'm not really feeling that. I think that's why I didn't want to raise the seat height up anymore and have it on the lower setting, because then you probably would feel a little bit more like on it rather than in it. But my legs don't feel cramped at all. I feel like they've got plenty of room. Not a very sharp bend in my knees. So what we got? Great brakes, great suspension, light clutch, a very good gearbox, not clunky at all, no false neutrals, nice bit of acceleration. A little bit of wind buffering, although I didn't really notice too much when we was on the motorway. Wasn't like my head was getting, you know, shaken about or anything. I'd probably, if I was to get one, I'd probably leave the screen as it is, bearing in mind what I've said before about putting bigger screens on and making the problem worse. I like to be able to see the road as well, and it doesn't feel like it's you know, when you've got a big screen in front. Yeah, not particularly a massive fan of that. Are there any downsides? Sides? Not that I can think of. Not that I can think of. Holds its weight well. It's not overly heavy, it's not top heavy. I don't think I did any overtakes, but there's certainly enough power there to do that. Don't really have to go up and down a gearbox too much, although you can feel it straining a little bit there at 2,500 RPM. Didn't get to go up Bluebell Hill, but I think it wouldn't have any problems with that. Might like to have a go with Max on the back just to confirm there's enough power there, but I mean, if we can tour on Scrambo, we can certainly tour on this. Yeah, very well done, Royal Enfield. Made a very good bike. Very usable, very enjoyable. I'm not sure what the price point is. I think it's 5.5, 6 grand. So we'll just nip in here and park up next to Scrambo. There she is. See what sort of state we've brought her back in. Again, the outside stand is a little bit low, but you can buy things to go on the end there. A few little splatterings. A little bit on the headlight. What's that USB? It's one of the little ones. USB-C, is it? Very nice. That's on a sort of medium setting, that rear shock. Those chunky tyres. Seats. Quite like that little stubby exhaust. Right, we'll sign you off, YouTube. I didn't do that, unless that's mud. Right, yeah, catch you in a bit, back on Scrambo. Just a ride home. So things I've noticed, yeah, obviously the power's not there. The engine is more forgiving. You can pull away in lower revs. I think it's more forgiving, but then that's because it's sort of, yeah, it's not quite so highly strung as the 450. But yeah, you're just trading in the power for being a bit more of a lazy, leisurely ride. Gearbox is definitely more clunky. There wasn't a lot not to like, really. £6 on the road, unless you want tubeless, when it's 6.3. Service intervals are 300 miles, you take it back in for an oil change, standard. 6,000 miles is an oil change and valve check and adjust. 12,000, again it's oil change and valve check, and then you skip out the 18,000 mile valve check and it goes to 24, and then you're doing the valves every 12,000 miles. So I think they're just sort of covering themselves with the first two big services, basically. Would I upgrade from Scrambo? I think I would. I don't know if I will, if that makes sense.